Chapter 301. After sending his text message, Alex kept receiving text replies. The first to reply was Faria. "Mr. Anderson, don't worry. I will definitely come over to congratulate your wife tomorrow." After that, Matthew replied, "Thank you for the invitation, Mr. Anderson. I will definitely come over to join you for the opening ceremony tomorrow." Hazel replied, "Mr. Anderson, I will make sure to bring my son and nephew along with me to congratulate your wife tomorrow. After all, I really want those two rascals to apologize to you in person." In fact, everyone was very excited to receive Alex's invitation because they felt that it was a good opportunity for them to get closer to him. Emma initially had some qualms about her opening ceremony tomorrow. She would never have expected her husband to prepare a grand opening ceremony for her. After getting back home, Emma quickly washed up so that she could rest earlier and prepare for the opening ceremony of her studio tomorrow morning. Alex also went to bed early that night, and all that he thought about that night was how he was going to make his wife the most talked about person in Oris Hill tomorrow. The next day was the day that Emma had scheduled for the opening ceremony of her studio. As Emma did not have much money since she was just starting her own business, Emma rented a small office in the slightly remote Blue Moon building. Even though Blue Moon building was a subsidiary property owned by Diamond Group, it was not worth mentioning at all. Diamond Group could not be bothered to operate the building on their own, and they rented the office units out to some intermediary companies. Initially, Alex was planning to ask Doris to vacate one of the floors in Blue Moon building for his wife to use as her office. However, as he thought about it, he felt it would be too difficult to explain it to Emma. Therefore, he decided to allow Emma to use her own money to rent a small office in the building instead. At this time, Alex and Emma were both standing outside of the small office as they waited for the arrival of the guests. Emma had already sent some invitation letters out to several partners that she used to work with in Richard Group in the past, and she even plucked up the courage to send an invitation letter to Doris from Diamond Group. However, she was still a little nervous because she did not know if any of those guests would show up. It was very difficult for her to start up a company on her own, and if her opening ceremony was a failure, everyone in the industry would definitely look down on her. When Alex saw the anxious expression on Emma's face, he quickly assured and comforted her, "My dear wife, it's still early. When the time comes, all the guests will definitely be here. Don't worry too much about it." The scheduled opening time was 10 o'clock in the morning, and it was just a little after 9 o'clock right then. Therefore, it was only normal that no one had arrived yet at that time. A short while later, Emma suddenly received a phone call. After answering the call, she found out that it was the receptionist at the front desk of Blue Moon building informing her in advance that the Richard family was here to visit. When Alex heard the voice over the phone, he was very surprised. "The Richard family? What are they doing here? Did you send them an invitation letter?" Emma shook her head before she said, "Why would I invite them to my opening ceremony after our disagreement? Perhaps the reason why they're here today is to laugh at me. The receptionist told me that Grandma came here in person with my uncle's family. Alex, I hope you won't have a confrontation with them later." Alex nodded before he smiled and said, "As long as they don't try to stir up any trouble, I promise not to engage in any arguments with them. Today is supposed to be a happy day."